Today, when you're tired excessively and you don't have a reason for it, when you're in pain, when you feel symptoms that you can't identify as something that is going away right away, that you can't identify their source, that you simply are worried. Now you're becoming worried about the symptoms you have. When those things happen, we go to the doctor. That's the way we do it in the States, in this part of the world. There's another part of the world where decades, actually centuries, millenniums ago, they did it totally different. For example, in Asia, in China, so whatever Asia is, China, Taiwan, North and South Korea, Vietnam, Hong Kong, Japan, in those countries, the way that things were always addressed was you would go to the doctor all the time, not just when you had a pain or not just when you felt excessively tired, but you actually had a routine or a regimen where you went every certain amount of time and the doctor kept you well. He gave you Chinese herbs and you took them and you kept your body in balance and you were healthy and you did not complain. Now, when you did get sick following this regimen that you paid the doctor to give you to keep you healthy, when you did get sick, you would stop paying the doctor until he got you well again. That's the way they did it in Asia. Now, this side of the world rejects that way of thinking, and especially rejected it more when medicine, traditional medicine, became available here in this part of the world, in the United States. Then it was like we shunned everything, or they, this part of the world shunned everything that was done in Asia. Yeah, we don't do it like that. Now we wait till people get sick and then we treat them based on what's going on with them then. So that's the mentality we have now. And that's why people want to know exactly what they have and worry excessively about the name of the symptoms they're having. They want to group all those symptoms into, please give me a diagnostic, doctor. Please, I want to know what I have. Why do we do that? Why do we need to have a diagnosis? Why? Well, because the only way the doctor can help us is by giving us medicine. And the only way the doctor can give us medicine is once he or she addresses what illness we have. Because each medicine is particular to the illness you are having. Heaven forbid that a mistake is made and you get the wrong medicine because you were not diagnosed correctly. That's when we get all the suits going out there, legal suits and etc. So that's why we have this desperate feeling of, I need to know what I have. I need to go to the doctor. I just need to know. Notice how different that is in Asia. Over there, you go to the doctor, and after he does whatever exam or what have you, and you tell him, tell me what I have, he says, or she says, you're out of balance. That's all. That's all it is. When there is an illness in the body is out of balance. What does that mean? Well, in a factory, if I was the owner of a factory, and I had 100 workers that came to work every day, and everybody did what they did, everybody in the factory would be doing what they did, and I would have the production that I have to have every day in the factory. And everything would run well. I can have the factory running. Everything is good. Now, the day that out of those 100 factory workers, 30 come in sluggish and don't want to work well, or some of them just don't come to work, I still have to produce the same amount in this factory. So now my problem is these that are healthy and are well have to make up for what these are slacking off in. And now I have an imbalance. I have workers that are slacking off and I have others that are having to work more. This imbalance creates a problem because now I still have the production that I need, but they're getting tired up here because now they're working more. And if this continues too much, these workers are always sluggish for too long, then these have to work so much more. Eventually they get sluggish and I have to close the factory because now the production isn't taking place. And I can't run a factory that way. Our body is the same way. Every organ, body system has a job they have to do. And when one organ, one body system doesn't do it, it creates an imbalance. And that's when the symptoms begin. That's when the illnesses begin. What is called illnesses here. The problem with that is that these that are slacking off, as they slack off, they make these work more. And eventually these will get tired as well. And then eventually everything shuts down. or a lot of things shut down, and then you feel you're dragging yourself through life and you're miserable emotionally, physically, mentally. And as we're getting and going through all that, we're going to the doctor because I have all sorts of symptoms happening, and I'm going to the doctor to get diagnosed, to get on more medicine, which never fixes anything, because really all I had to do was return to balance. And that's why you hear me so much in a lot of my videos talk about the importance of taking herbal products, because I want to preventively address my health. I want to continuously make deposits into my health bank, so that when I do face an illness, my body has where to take out of and where to respond and how to respond appropriately. And then I'm not shut down for too long. I can quickly get back up because my organs and my body systems can be balanced again. I talk a lot about, in my recent videos, about a program that has been designed to actually come into the body and balance the body. Now remember, I'm not a doctor, I don't diagnose, I don't treat illnesses, but I do help you become informed about some of the best ways to take care of yourself. And it definitely is not waiting until you're sick to address it. If you keep your body in balance, you are going to be surprised how much you can go through life well, until finally just body organs shut down, because we're imperfect and we don't live forever. I use my grandmother's example as to prove that, actually, to help people understand how that works. My grandmother was 97 years old when she had to undergo a surgery because her hip had broken. She had broken her hip. And at 97, there's no other option. You have to get the surgery or else you're bedridden, which at that age you don't want to be, because then the bed sores and just a whole bunch of other issues. So it was decided that she would have this surgery. And we knew going in that she might not come out of it because of the anesthesia, but there really was no other option because it was something broken. So she went to proceed with the surgery at 97, 98. And I remember that they had to do, because I was there in the room with her, they had to do an ultrasound on her liver. And I remember as they were doing it, I realized that, well, we were told, I didn't realize, that we were told that she had a cancer in her liver. And she had had it for quite some time. The doctor said, oh, that's not just yesterday or a few years ago. She's had it for quite some time. So she's had cancer for quite some time. And we're not going to address it now, obviously, because of the surgery, but they moved forward, did the surgery. She did come out of the surgery. We were able to talk to her for a bit, but then she went into a coma because she didn't do well with the anesthesia. We didn't expect her to, sadly. And so we did lose her. But the reason I share this story with you is so that you can understand that something that she had for 10 years, 20 years, I don't know how many years, well, the doctor kind of gave us a ballpark, but had we addressed it with what the name alone of cancer would have scared us into doing, maybe, you know, you did want to do wow, now I'm blanking out. You wanted to do chemo or radiation. The family could have probably decided that, because I couldn't be the only member suggesting differently. We would have probably lost her way before. But for 30 years, my grandparents, since we had come into the health field, my parents and I, for 30 years, she had been taking care of herself in a way to balance her body. So when she faced this cancer, the body just kept functioning until the organs just gave out because of age, because of imperfection. So the reason I share this story is to help you understand that if you keep your body balanced, a lot of the things will not affect you, and you'll be able to continue living and enjoying life and allowing others to enjoy you. We have the wrong mentality here in the States. We wait until we're sick to address our health. And really, an emperor in China said it really well when he said that in order to keep order, that keeping order was easier than trying to correct disorder. He actually said that if you tried to cure an illness, or you waited to cure the body when an illness presented itself, was the same thing as trying to dig a well once you were thirsty. You don't do that. You don't wait until I am really thirsty. All right, I guess I'll start digging now to find water. You don't do that. And that's why the mentality in that part of the world is we don't wait until people get sick. We keep them well. We keep them balanced so that they don't have to face illnesses. So that if for whatever reason, stress of everything I'm exposed to, of what I eat and don't eat, because I'm not eating right, because of the stress of my lifestyle, the stress of the traffic, the job I work in, my family, my unexpected bills, what have you that stresses me. If any of these things come in and throw me off balance and I get sick, well, because I've been balancing myself and keeping myself as healthy as possible, as balanced as possible, now the shift isn't going to be too long because I can bring it back and keep myself balanced. That's the idea between keeping yourself preventively well. And that's why you'll hear me talk a lot in videos about this initial balance program from Soul Naturals that actually comes into the body for $265 a month, which is a very low investment in your health. You get a combination of products that come into your body and keep you. If you're not balanced, helps you get back to that balance, and then helps you to retain your health versus waiting until you're sick. So consider that from now forward, as you not wait any longer to address things when there's a pain or there's a headache or there's lack of energy. Give yourself the opportunity to get the nutrients you need and keep yourself balanced, and you'll see why traditional Chinese medicine has been with us and present for decades, for centuries, millenniums, and why it was the oldest, and we still refer to it as the oldest medicine around, because it was what everybody used before before traditional medicine came along, before we had to be diagnosed in order to be treated, in order to be given a particular medicine. So consider that as you move forward to continue to keep yourself as healthy as you can.